Hi, my name is Lindsay McCracken, and I'm presenting my Module 4, which is the KISA process, with a brief analysis of our 5 Rs. I sat down with my building principal, and we went through each rubric and kind of went through the information together, and we really kind of looked at, number one, what is the purpose of this? So, we have our 5 outcomes as a state: our kindergarten readiness, our IPS or individual plans of study, high school graduation, post-secondary success, and the local social emotional factors, and how the relationships, relevance, responsive culture, and rigor will really get us there. And so that was kind of where our conversation began. We are in the implementation phase for the majority of these things. And we talked about that when we do enter the KISA accreditation process, we'll be entering at year 1. And we really kind of focused on what our strengths and weaknesses are in each area, but found that primarily we're implementing, possibly transitioning on a few aspects of them. So with relationships, my high school's in a rebuilding phase. There's been kind of a perception issue for a few years. And so my building principal has been working really hard on relationships. And that goes for staff, students, families, and community. And he uses social media as a tool to build relationships and make connections, and obviously makes important community connections outside of social media. But it's been a focus for a year and a half now, and relationships are kind of our strong point. When we talk about relevance, there are pockets of that where we're doing well, which is technology. Everyone's been working on a technology initiative. We have our one-to-one Chromebooks for the second year this year. Our PD this year has been focused on student engagement, but it's the curriculum and instruction piece where we're very low. Responsive culture. We talked about this, from a building perspective and a district perspective, and we're definitely in the implementation stage here as well. So we talk about leadership. Our leadership is pretty solid. We talk about early childhood, our district climate overall, and our nutrition and wellness. And after going through every section of it, really found ourselves in that implementing stage. With rigor, there were a few places where we were back and forth, but for the most part, implementing in that area as well. Our CTE program is strong. There were pockets where we were transitioning there. Professional learning is getting better. We have a PD team this year, and our focus is, what will be the most meaningful for students and for teaching and learning. And so that's been a good experience. And then with using resources and data, those are kind of our low points right now. When I consider my current principal's leadership style, as I mentioned before, the building has been in a rebuilding phase, and through his transformational leadership, he's made leaps and bounds in just a year and a half in terms of building community relationships, increasing families' focus on our school, and really building a lot of capacity in a variety of places. So he is building those strategic relationships. He kind of leverages different factors of people's emotional intelligence and uses that to develop capacity. And, he has different strategies and different committees that he works with. And all of this kind of combines to very actionable change. And I think that's it, that he's a change agent and that he leads through changes, and he gets everyone's buy-in so that everyone feels empowered and feels like they're part of the process. Our areas for improvement are primarily relevance and rigor, which are two of the more important things when you consider a school, particularly when our areas of improvement center around curriculum, instruction, resources, and data. So my personal vision would be that we meaningfully engage all students all the time. With PSEL 4A, talks about implementing coherent systems of curriculum, instruction, and assessment that promote our mission and vision, that align with state standards, and that are culturally responsive. We have pockets of teachers doing that, but it's not consistent, and it's certainly not coherent. So that would be a first focus for me. With PSEL 4D, we need to ensure our instructional practice is intellectually challenging for students, that it's authentic, and that it recognizes the strengths of our students, and so we can differentiate and personalize as necessary. And then with PSEL 7C, just to establish and sustain that truly professional culture of engagement and commitment to our shared vision and goals, that we're having high expectations for our professional work, that we focus on ethical and equitable practices, and that we really just are constantly trying to get better in our practice. This was an incredibly enlightening process. I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to sit down with my administrator, and I hope everyone enjoyed watching. Thanks. Bye.